Have you ever looked at your business and thought, I'm working harder than ever before, so why does it feel like nothing is changing? I've been there. One of the biggest lessons I've learned after being in business for 10 years is that growth doesn't come from doing more, it comes from doing the right things and doing those things consistently. So today we're talking about the real reasons why most small businesses stay stuck and, more importantly, how to break through. So let's talk about the difference between being busy and being productive. How do entrepreneurs spend most of their time? During their day, they usually are answering emails, posting to social media, putting out fires, running errands. I know these are all things that I made the mistake in the beginning that I was doing consistently. But these tasks, they feel like you're productive, but then often they don't create any meaningful growth. You just kind of stay stuck. And the key takeaway is that being busy isn't the same as actually building a business. Hi, and welcome back to Worth Building podcast. Today's episode is a little bit different because this is a shorter episode called A Builder's Brief, where there's short conversations, just one idea, one lesson, and one challenge that you can take into your week with you. So today I'm going to talk about something that I see all the time in small businesses, and it wasn't just in other businesses, but in my own as well. So why do businesses stay stuck? And I'm not just talking about stuck as far as revenue. I'm talking about the feeling like you're working harder than ever, but nothing seems to be changing in your business. It's not growing. And if you've ever thought, I'm busy all day, but I don't feel like I'm making any progress, this episode is absolutely for you. Because after more than 10 years in business, I've realized something. That most businesses don't stay stuck because the owner isn't working hard enough. They're usually working way too much. They stay stuck because the owner's working on the wrong things in the business. When I first opened Graced, my days were absolutely full. I'd help customers, I'd receive the inventory, I would price it, I would update our website, I would answer all of my emails, I would run all of the social media accounts, sweep the floors, vacuum, take out the garbage, balance the books, and by the end of the day, I was exhausted, but I felt like I wasn't growing. Exhaustion isn't always evidence of progress. Sometimes it's just evidence that we've been trapped in our day-to-day operations of our business. There's a phrase that I come back to often. Don't confuse movement with momentum. You can spend 12 hours moving and never move the business forward, not even an inch. And one of the biggest shifts I've made was realizing that every task isn't equally valuable in my business. There are things that only I can do as the founder, and there are things that almost anyone else could do or learn to do. If I spend all of my time doing the second category, the business will never grow. Because no one is thinking about the future. I have to be thinking about the future. And I think there are 3 reasons most businesses stay stuck. And the first is that we become operators instead of owners in our business. Operators keep the business running, but owners make sure that the business keeps growing. Both are really, really important. But if you're always operating and you're never leading, you're never going to grow. The second reason is fear. Sometimes we know exactly what needs to happen in our business. We need to raise prices. We need to hire someone to help us. We need to launch the website. We need to start the podcast. We need to have the difficult conversations with our employees. And it's not that we don't lack knowledge. It's that we lack the courage to actually do these things. And I've learned that growth almost always lives on the other side of one uncomfortable decision. The third reason is that we stop learning. The businesses that continue growing usually have owners who continue growing. They read, they ask questions, they have their own mentors, they seek out people who can help them, they stay curious, and because your business rarely outgrows your leadership. So one question I have to ask myself regularly is, what does my business need from me right now? And sometimes the answer is to jump in and help. More often, though, the answer is to think, to plan, to improve a system, to coach someone. to make one decision I've been avoiding. Here's the challenge that I want to leave you with today. Take 15 minutes this week and write down everything you did yesterday. Yes, everything. Put each task into one of two columns. Column 1 will be this grows the business. These are activities that help my business grow. And column 2 are just things that are keeping the business running. Both lists are really, really important. Believe me, they both matter. But if every single task lands in the second column, you may have discovered why your business feels stuck. Growth requires space. Space to think, space to plan, space to become the leader your business needs you to be next. So before we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final thought. The goal isn't to become busier. The goal is to become more intentional. Because businesses don't grow by accident. They grow because their owners make intentional decisions over time, consistently.